National identity card is the #1 document of every citizen in a country. It is a document that shows that someone is a bona fide citizen of a particular country, and with that document, the citizen has the right to freely move, have access to offices, and also be registered into the electoral register as far as that is concerned. In Cameroon, having an original copy of your national identity card issued to you is like a United States citizen who is struggling to have a visa to go to Iran, and also is like a Cameroonian who has migrated into the United States of America to waiting for his green card or permanent residence to be given to he or she. In fact, it is much easier for a Cameroonian who has migrated into the United States of America to have his or her green card or permanent resident issued to them than for a Cameroonian in Cameroon to have an original copy of their national identity card issued to them. To those who are lucky in Cameroon, they will have to wait for about 2 years or more to have their original copies of their ID card issued to them. To others who are financially viable, we have to knock at the corridors of those who are concerned with huge pay or money before they can have their original copy of their ID card. Some who are lucky will just have their ID card issued to them after 2 years. To those who are not lucky, they will have to wait and constantly renew their temporal pass of their national identity card for months and years and keep renewing, and in fact change the other side of the renewal will be given a new paper for a renewal to be done in a renewal. The cycle, it continues over and over again. Others will have to wait until the second coming of Christ before they will have their national identity card issued to them. A date that nobody knows when Christ is coming. That is just to tell you how bad the situation is for Cameroonians to have their national identity card. I am not exaggerating the issue as far as the ID card crisis is concerned. Personally, I have been struggling to have my national identity card original issued to me. It is counting almost 2 years down the clock. The last time I visited the police station, which I made the national identity card, I was told to come in 2024. A national identity card I did in February 2021. If you look at all these perspectives, there are some transactions that you cannot do with the temporal pass given to you, and sometimes it is not even durable. The faces of those and information quickly fade away and now poses problem between the citizen who was born in Cameroon, who sang the O Cameroon cradle of our fathers, to battle with police officers along the way, who finds it difficult to read their name, who also find it difficult to read their place of birth or to identify their faces. Citizens who have to struggle to get money sent to them by their brothers or peers from abroad because the faces on their temporal pass is no longer visible or legible enough for them. We have lawmakers who are there in terms of sitting in for the people. Members of parliament, lawmakers of the Senate are also belong to these constituencies, yet very few have actually come up to talk about the issue of national identity card. The prayer of an ordinary Cameroonian is that the members of parliament whom the people voted for, the senators whom the people voted for, should come together as a team and look into the issue of national identity card. If not, many Cameroonians are asking the one simple question: if it takes too long, 2 years plus, for us to have our national identity card issues to us, are we truly Cameroonian, or are we illegal citizens who constantly go to the police to renew our stay in Cameroon after every 3 months? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Jarvis. welcome back. And if you are just joining us, you're watching House of Commons. We shall also be looking at the release of Nnamdi, who is a revered Nigerian separatist leader, by the Nigerian Court of Appeal that ruled that Nnamdi should be released and acquitted of all the charges that were placed against him, despite the fact that he had been baptized as a terrorist by Nigerian government. The same Nigerian judiciary rendered the judgment that Nnamdi should be released by virtue of the fact that his place of arrest was not known and that his rights were violated, and the OAU convention was raised, and also the issue of extradition treaty, and his right as a human being was violated. These are more will be yours, as we shall also look at the Ayop Tabe situation, comparing it with Nnamdi and the Naira 10, and what lessons can we learn from Cameroon judicial system. In the studio, we have Prince Epiere, who is coming from the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. It is his, he has been here, and it is also his first time to be here for this month of October. Prince Epiere, thanks for joining us. Amwe.
Amwe.
Asange.
Nwempe. Thank you very much, Tah Mai Jarvis, for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be on this platform. I want to use this particular forum to greet all the millions of televiewers of the House of Commons, and also to greet my fellow panelists. It's always a wonderful thing to edify Cameroonians, to educate them, and to share together on the plaguing issues that are bound in this country and the world at large. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much. You're in the studio. We have Innocent, who is joining us. Innocent Barazil, thanks for joining us, and happy Sunday.
Thank you, happy Sunday, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis. Thank you for inviting me once more. And I just happy Sunday to my fellow panelists and all fans of House of Commons and my media prime. I just want to say that the issue of identity card is very horrible, and we shall try to see how we can do justice to it.
Alele.
Alele.
Yeah, in the studio also we have Ali, who is joining us also to talk about this issue of the national identity card issue, and vis-a-vis that of the Naira 10 and also Nnamdi. Ali, it's a privilege to have you. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis. I am very agog to be part of this program today, and as a common man, I've decided to be here to defend the image of the green, red and yellow, in which here we are today to solve the different problems that we are facing.
Thank you very much, Ali. And also we have in the studio Nick Anu. Nick Anu, who is a member of House of Commons. Nick Anu, Alele.
Alele, Tah Mai Jarvis, good morning to my fellow panelists, and good morning to fellow Cameroonians watching us all over the globe. Good morning to die-hearted fans of House of Commons, and thank you once more for inviting me here today. And we look forward to discussing a very pertinent issue plaguing the life of every Cameroonian. I must say, the issue of ID card doesn't spare any Cameroonian, and we look forward to discussing that deeply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also want to acknowledge Mr. Vitalis, who also will be joining us as the debate moves on. He is also a member of Cameroon and also a member of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. Very objective, and we shall be having this fruitful debate to look at these issues. I'll begin with you, Prince Epiere. Briefly, the issue of ID card, we shall look at it briefly, then move to the second topic. The issue of ID card. What's the problem? What are we not getting right? Are Cameroonians foreigners in their country?
Cameroonians have become foreigners in their country, of which they never had to be foreigners of their fatherland. The issue of ID cards in Cameroon, I want to tell you, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, you gave a good editorial. That is the real situation of ID cards in Cameroon. You can, how can we explain that a Cameroonian pays for the ID card? You make a document of nationality which is being issued by a judge, by a magistrate, to show that you are a Cameroonian national, and you pay for the services for your ID card to be produced, and you sit donkey years without the production of your ID card. I want to tell you, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, personally, this ID card took 5 years for it to be produced. 5 years for it to be produced.
That's even where you're lucky.
That is, I said 5 years for me to have this ID card. And let me tell you that I needed to go to the production center in Yaoundé for my ID card to be produced. For those who know, we had the former Sacel. I first of all went to Sacel. There was no way for the ID card. When I reached at Sacel, they asked me to give 100,000 francs. I became mad. That 100,000 francs is for what? I am a Cameroonian national. I've paid for your services. Tell me the reason why my ID card is not coming out. Tell me the reason, and don't tell me that you pay 100,000 francs. It was a small police officer who was telling me. And let me tell you, my ID card did not come out. But finally, when I went to the production center, when they changed the former Sacel to the new French company, which is in charge now, when I went there, after some months, they sent me to Mendong, where I produced an ID card for me to go and collect. And I went there, I collected my ID card. It's the situation is sad. The question you are asking is very fundamental. Who takes the responsibility?
Yes, and who is benefiting?
And who is benefiting? Let me tell you, in your editorial, you talked of elections. You talked of elections. Do you know that you cannot become a regional, you cannot become a councillor without an ID card? How can you become a councillor without an ID card? How can you become a parliamentarian without an ID card? How can you become a senator without an ID card?
Can you register to the electoral list?
How can you register in the electoral list without an ID card? So, so there are some people up there who are doing it deliberately to deprive Cameroonians of their birthright. Because I want to, I'm a teacher in class, I teach my students that your birthright is your birth certificate and your national identity card. You deprive Cameroonians because of their birthright because of political reasons. It is so sad. Do you know that you cannot do bank transactions without an ID card?
Original copy?
Original copy. You cannot do a bank transaction. There are some banks, you cannot do bank transactions without an ID card.
And you cannot withdraw money for
Cameroonians are growing poor every day just because of ID cards. They are growing poor every day because of ID cards. Which bank will you go and ask for a loan? Let me tell you, okay, you are a local farmer. You do pepper farming. And you need maybe 200, 300,000 francs for a bank to support you to do farming. I'm talking of farming because Cameroonians, more than 70% of Cameroonians are farmers. If you don't have an ID card, will the bank give you a support for you to invest for a business? That is why you see that because of ID cards, Cameroonians are growing poor every day. No, Tah Mai Jarvis is good at.
So who is benefiting?
It is the regime in place, the people in place that are governing the country. I will not call their name. We know them. They are those benefiting. They have deprived Cameroonians of their ID card because they don't want Cameroonians to register in the electoral register. How many Cameroonians are 20 years this 16th day of October? How many Cameroonians? When they go to produce their ID card and then you take 5 years for the ID card to come out, when will they register for the electoral register? No, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis. And do you know that you cannot circulate? You cannot circulate freely in your homeland without an ID card. You cannot. And the same people who arrest you that you don't have an ID card are the same people who are in charge of producing the ID card. It's a paradox. Tah Mai Jarvis.
Something is really wrong somewhere. There must be a mix-up somewhere according to Big G Baba.
The mix-up is that there are some people who are seated up there because of political reasons to deprive Cameroonians from them not to have their birthright.
Okay. Innocent Barazil, what's the problem?
Yes, I just want to say that this ID card issue is a problem because myself, almost 7 years now, I don't have an original ID card. Yes, and you go to the road, they will be disturbing you. But now I want to establish something. The fact is that when they say the regime in place, it seems as if they are asking the president there. But I have encountered situations which I have realized that most of those policemen on the road, they do what they like to do. By the time they get to their boss, the boss does a different thing. Therefore, there was a time that I was going to Boya with one man. They stopped that woman. When they stopped that woman, I asked for the receipt of the dresses that she bought. I told the policeman that you are a policeman, you don't ask for ID. Now, because we are not talking about that, but now because the wrong service charge, when we went to the boss now, He took collected my IDs, delayed us there for 2 hours. When he realized I would not give money to us to his boss, the boss now said, okay, we should open the bail. We opened it and there was nothing inside. So I told the police, this is what you were expected to do. The police have the right to come and search your house. He has a search warrant. But these policemen on the road, they have decided they'll do what they like. And those was in the office. Okay, you went there, Mr. Prince Pearson, you went there. You went there before your own was out. How many Cameroonians will go there? And they are benefiting because some people, like just 2 days ago, one of my friends...
No, I went there about 5 times, my brother, Mr. I went there about 5 times.
Voila.
The former Sacel did not produce my ID card. It is the new company in place that succeeded in producing my ID card. If you look at
5 years.
After 5, if you look at my ID card, it's a new production, of which at the time when I registered for my ID card to be produced,
okay,
it was the old one.
Okay. Yeah,
yes. So I went there for about 5 times. I just wanted to
yes, so you went there about 5 times. Imagine 5 times. And those people there are doing it deliberately. Even the regional, the national delegate of national security is not aware of what they are doing in that office. They are doing that deliberately so that people can come and they give 50,000, give 100,000. Why? Because they themselves they see that the regime in place has been so corruption, the level of corruption in Cameroon has taken a different dimension. Ordinary IT card, because the right of any citizen, the right of any human being is to have a nationality, is to be a citizen of a particular country. And the only thing which makes you to be a citizen in Cameroon is an IT card, not even the birth certificate. But the IT card have deprived us of IT card for a very long time.
Okay, when you say you are sure that the delegate of national security is not aware, is it that he is not competent to know what is happening in his office because he is in charge? He's in charge of that. Is he not competent? Is he not in his jurisdiction?
It's his jurisdiction. I want to say it's laxity. It's laxity and reluctance, because normally he's supposed to know what is happening. Because as we are saying here like this, most of them are following these channels. They follow it. But yet they will continue because Cameroonians are lazy. That I used to say Cameroonians are leaders who have sense.
It's not that they follow this channel. Let me just add from it. It's not that they follow this channel.
Briefly. So I let him learn.
There is, if you go to the Prime Ministry, there is a service which is in charge to follow all political programs. Tah Mai Jarvis program is highly followed. If you go to the presidency, we have a department on that. We have a department. If you go to the National Communication Council, you have specialists on that.
Okay.
And even at the Ministry of Communication and even the Intelligence Service. So we have more than 6 services and 6 departments in Cameroon which follow programs like this. So they are highly informed.
So now the fact is that Cameroonians, I used to say out, Cameroonians and leaders don't have sense. The truth is that this government is confused. That is the truth. This very government is confused because I don't understand what is actually going. Because if ordinary ID card, so what can they actually do in this country if they cannot even make me as a Cameroonian? So what is the difference between me and a Nigerian? What is the difference between me and a foreigner in this country? Because even an ID card you don't even have. So it's very disgusting. I went to one place there, in one station in Bonaberi, just to extend my ID card, my ID card. They said I should give 500. I gave the 500 francs. Later on, they said I should go and wait. I said, no, you give my 500 francs. You want me to wait? Give my 500 francs back. It was a problem until they had to give me back. That is what they want. That is what they want.
So you bribed?
No,
you bribed?
They said I should bribe now.
Yeah, you bribed.
So wait, you bribed? You bribed? No, so you bribed.
Means you are part of the problem.
So you are part of the problem. Ali,
no, it has become a routine.
What's the problem? Who is responsible?
responsible?
Who is responsible and who is benefiting? This is a problem of the national identity card. Number one document of a citizen.
Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, our fellow brothers and sisters in Yaoundé, they have opened a source where they are eating. So why are you just trying to scatter the food that they are eating? They have opened a connection where they are enjoying it, and now when we just try to talk about it as if you are trying to chase them out of that food. So they have tried to open that connection since to eat, and I hope this time around they are already satisfied with the food that they are paid there for. They satisfied with the food. Okay, let me come back to 2016. After Sahel, Gemelto took over the control of the production of the ID cards in Cameroon. It's still the foreigners who is still using to manipulate our sovereignty. And I am not sure that it is supposed to be happening like this, where foreigners are using and producing our identity cards in collaboration with our police officers, that they say that they are serving the nation for the defense and the security. What they are doing is the contrary. And the next thing is that the information after Sahel, Gemelto took over power, and the information that Gemelto took, it was incomplete because there are some documents that Sahel refused to give Gemelto the information for them to continue producing the ID cards. It's not all Cameroonians that are suffering the double identity card issue. Some of the information are blocked there, and they cannot easily have all the information to solve the problems. Even if they can solve the problem, but it is not up to this level. It is more than them. I think that if it is more than them, they might find a possible solution to solve it. Okay, and the thing is that we have come to use the SIM cards on our ID cards. Cameroon, we have not yet reached to that level of using SIM cards in our ID cards. So what are we doing with SIM cards? We are under LDCs. What are we doing with SIM card inside our ID cards? First of all, even the ID card that they are producing now, it breaks to pieces. You cannot use it more than 2 months.
Yeah, because I saw that of Prince Epiere, it is broken.
It's broken. And we have almost up to 5,000 ID cards lying fallow in different police stations without the owners that can go and collect. Why is it that the government cannot organize and work with the mayors?
Oh, decentralize the production.
Yes, to even at least work with the mayors to distribute those ID cards as they used to do with electoral cards. Why can they not engage in that issue in which they can easily refund those ID cards to the owners? There's no way. If you just think about a special issue where nobody's talking about it, in my own village, Galimchier, where cattle rearers pay tax. Even if they have ID cards, they pay tax, 500 francs. A cattle rearer, he's not moving with his cattle. He's inside the bus traveling, and policemen used to stop them on the way and collect 500 francs of the tax that they have to pay for their serve. They're human beings, and they pay that 500 francs. Because they are illiterate, they have not gone to school, they don't know where to complain. Even if you go to complain somewhere, you will not be successful because you waste your time for nothing. And the next thing is that concerning the decentralization of the ID cards in Yaoundé. If you come back to the insecurity issue, 20% of the Anglophone crisis comes from the ID cards. Do you know something? Do you know why? Because there are many migrants that are inside the guys that are creating confusion, killing people from left to right. Our brothers and sisters from North and South are suffering day and night because strangers have entered inside that issue. They are creating disorder, killing people.
Okay.
You know, the way that they have got the opportunity to enter the country is during the election time, where they were issuing ID cards to different people that different Cameroonians to go and vote. Even strangers, you don't know that you are a stranger, they will just give you an ID card to go and vote because they want a majority in their party, CPDM.
Okay, we'll be coming back to you.
So,
Nick, we're coming back to you. Who benefits? Who takes responsibility?
It is the issue of ID card in Cameroon is an organized mafia. Nobody can tell you that it is not. They don't know what they are doing. It is an organized mafia that starts around, right from the Delegate General of National Security, right down to the production, the local levels where they're issuing or registering to produce ID cards. There is a chain of network that benefits everybody at every level. Because you cannot explain to me that I will pay 2,600 francs for the production of my ID card and I stay for 5 years without having it. I was lucky to do mine in 2018 and it came out, I think, barely about 6 months or 7 months after. Maybe because I did not have any complications.
But I don't have complications. My first ID card got expired after 10 years. I went just for renewal of a new ID card. It's been more than a year plus, going to 2.
Yeah, the issue is that since the money involved in it is not huge, like in the passport system, they try to create this kind of confusion so that people, the little money that we enter will be benefiting some people. Because we quite remember it was, even with the old system of passport, it was this kind of quagmire. You could make a passport and it stays for 1 year without coming out, of which a passport has just 5 years validity. And if it is coming out after a year and more, you have just 4 years to use it, and you have spent huge amount of money to do it. So to them, the issue of paying maybe 2,600 francs, of course, still easy because you do nationality also before doing ID card. The issue of doing that, they don't really see much money in it that they can really steal, because you cannot explain the fact that the ID card system should not be organized. Why can they not make a system where when you register to do your ID card, or they go into collaboration with maybe postal services, where they make a system where if you can follow your ID card online like the passport system they're doing now, that if your ID card is produced, if it is having a problem, they can send you a mail and you know. Because some people, they even do your ID card, it has an error, you don't even know. You wait until when you want to go and renew, and they tell you that your name was wrongly spelled, and so on and so forth.
Intentional, so they should come back and bribe them.
Yeah, so these things are just deliberately done. Nobody can convince me that these things are not deliberately done in order to put Cameroonians in much pain, in order to make people to suffer, to look at the government as a sole provider, and not to make people to feel free in their own country. If you go to neighboring countries, I moved in Nigeria, I don't see them asking ID cards. If they have national ID card, but you hardly see in controls the police people asking for ID cards. Maybe they will sometimes even ask, if they ask you show your voter's card, they will leave you and go. But it's rare for them to see you, to see their controls asking for ID cards. In Cameroon, it's just it's a problem that really needs to be addressed. And we cannot say that the powers that be don't know what is happening. They know. It is just like every other sector of the country. They don't care. In Cameroon, we don't have leaders. We have people, a bunch of individuals who don't care.
No, when you say we don't have leaders, when you say we don't have, we have leaders. We voted for them in 2018. We voted for a parliamentarian, we voted for the president, we voted for the senators, we voted for the municipal council, which the regional assembly, though it was by parliament, by Cameroon kind of voting, but we voted for these people, we gave them the legitimacy.
But the issue is that...
Who voted for them?
No, we voted.
Continue.
You cannot say we don't have leaders. We have leaders.
The issue is that
we have voted.
The issue is that they don't have...
eyes.
The issue is, when you look at characteristics of leadership, the way these guys are acting, they don't have any iota of leadership in them. A leader is, first of all, people-centered. The leadership is about the people, not about some people. In Cameroonian leadership is about some people who have amalgamated power to themselves, or arrogated power to themselves to a level that they don't look at the common man, doesn't care to them.
No, when you say that, again, I will stay with you briefly. We have seen humanitarian aid being given to the people from the the presidency to the Ministry of Territorial Administration. Like when COVID-19 came, they went out and gave out Savon soap, though there was a chief who rejected a bucket of soap and a bucket, a Savon that was given to him.
The money was...
No, let me land. We've had campaigns carried out by the government, sensitization campaign, the cholera campaign. We have seen people going around to give a vaccine for cholera. Are these not measures taken by the government where you say just a few? Are these not measures benefiting everybody? Deployment of security?
These measures, they don't benefit. It's not like the government, it is in the normal, natural way that the government is supposed to do. These are normal, basic things that the government is supposed to do. It is not supposed to be politicized in any way or mediatized in any way. The government is supposed to provide security for its people, health care for its people. In fact, if a government doesn't do this, it means that it is a terrorist government. It's not a government.
The government just
the government is supposed to do all of these things that are just normal.
The government give you Savon.
So you think, okay, they are just normal, but which means they are living up to leadership.
No, they are not leaders. That's not leadership. Leadership has to be, it's about a vision. You have to have a vision for your people. But if an ordinary Cameroonian cannot have access to do an ID card, then you cannot call that a leadership. Because they do these things for their own benefit, not for the benefits of the common man. And I want to also beg to differ with our brother who made a correlation between the Amber fighters and the ID card issue. I just want to differ with it, that it is there's no positive correlation between what is happening in the Northwest and the Southwest with not having ID cards. No, it is not. Those who are fighting is not a matter of like there are some foreigners who came into Cameroon, who came into those regions and they are fighting. They are our own people that we know them, that they have been there, they have been living there for the past years, and they are the ones who are fighting. It's not a matter of like some people came in and they were giving fair ID card and they are fighting.
Let me read some messages. Let me read some messages so that briefly. No, I'm coming. Let me read some messages. Then I'll get to Innocent for coming to you so that Innocent can speak. Then we'll have a bit of replacement with Vitalis. Then he comes back with Anu. So let me just read some messages. I'll come back to you. Good day to you guys in the studio. I am Pamela from Yaoundé. That is what happened to me. They increased my age because of vote. Because they wanted me to vote, they increased my age. Thank you very much, Pamela. Good morning, Tah Mai Jarvis, all the panelists together with you. The problem is too much as far as the ID card is concerned. I wish I was in a taxi from Douala to Limbe, and there was one guy who had all his paperwork for ID card, but due to delay of ID in the police station, this guy had something very important to do in Douala along with the papers and his old ID card. Police people held this guy, and I had to buy this case on behalf of this guy. As the guy was asked to come down of the car, I also went down and I talked on his behalf until the police officer said he has not talked to me, so I should go back. But I insisted that we are one when we travel on the road. The police was talking of taking the guy to their office if we do not give him 5,000 francs. I said he should give us a receipt to show we have given him 5,000 francs. He was angry with me and we shouted at each other until one of the police came closer and listened carefully and told his friends leave the Amazonian to go. I was not happy with the words. Let these people be cautioned about words they use. Evangelist Tobias Sakwe from my for Limbe. Good afternoon, Jarvis. Cameroon. In Cameroon, we have opportunists who please don't insult, I will censor that, who call themselves leaders who do not care about the misery of their subject. How come the cry of having an ID card is national and the so-called leaders remain mute? I am tired. I don't tire them. Eno Mule Bate writing from Bamenda. This other one read, it says, in Canberra to have only the receipt of your ID card, you pay for fuel for 1,000 francs, and the inspector of police who established the ID card boldly insult people. One father of about 70 years was being pushed out of the ID card room like a baby, and the father had to say he is cursed. Let the administrator of Donga and Mountain Division should take note of this grade 2 inspector police. I'm sure Vitalis will either confirm or debunk this because he's from that area when he joined us. Files from 25 is being files from 25 francs is being sold at 300. Lost document costs 4,000. Please help us make this known by your TV. This is a message from someone in Donga and Mantun division. And this one with Good Morning House of Commons. It is really funny. I've been since 4 years now without the original ID card. And if you go there to find out, they don't even have the patience to look for it. The problem is that you can move around or travel freely without the original ID card, and sometimes you can even get to pay 25,000 francs when arrested without having an ID card when the carton have expired. Henry from Kumba. This other read, it says, good afternoon, dear panelists. I make my first ID card after it expired. After I renew it till date, it's almost 13 years. Nothing. I have done Collins before he traveled to Germany. He said he had problem with his ID card. This one read them. Greetings to you in the studio. I'm still doubting about the use of the structural and called national printing press. If Cameroon administrator had kicked out the canker worm called bribery and corruption in a whole, all legal and vital and sensitive documents could have been produced in Cameroon by Cameroonians themselves without any independent or strange attached to it. This is coming from Table Machiavelli in Yaoundé. This other read is a good thing to you, Mr. Jarvis and all panelists. Good topic as usual. The issue of ID card is a national issue, really disturbing. I will say those in charge from the identification center to the national delegation of public security to the production center are the ones benefiting for they created all speed breaks to escort the few francs from the population. Why not increase the money to even 50,000 and it comes out in 7 days as they have upgraded with the passport system? Thomas in Douala, so many messages. Let me come to you, Innocent, so that you make way for Vitalis. I know you will react. I've not said you will react to him, and also you wanted to react. But let me just get Innocent. Now, this issue of ID card, what way forward?
Yes, one thing which I want to say is that, as my fellow panelists was saying, Cameroonians have leaders. The fact is that, first of all, who put those people there? Because normally, in a subdivision, if people of America, for instance, if they have an ID card issue, they can go to the DIO, discuss with the DIO, or the DIO can discuss with the mayor. But what criteria can they use? Because I've been polling agents in a station for many times. Forget this thing, CPTM used to win. Any Cameroonian tell you that they cheat, it's a lie. Can they give this very Cameroonians money? These very people are crying money, give them rice, give them salt. Oh yeah, they go to that poll and voted CPTM. In once that 2018, I went to one area in that quarter, only the road was terrible. I was surprised that CPTM won on that polling station. Look, it shocked me. Because only the road gets you to that quarter. Then I asked myself that, but does this people actually do
we were not talking about CPDM.
Yes, what I'm trying to say is that
the way you are sounding like a CPDM.
No, CPDM is a rolling.
You are sounding like a sympathizer.
No, CPDM is a rolling party.
Yes.
And if those policemen are being the minister of Delegate General in charge of national security, who is in charge of police, is being appointed by the president, who is a CPDM member.
Okay.
So that is what I'm trying to say is that if you don't vote the right people, if you decide to sell your conscience and at the end you are crying, please, we should not cry, because it's we Cameroonians, we very Cameroonians that are saying that vote those very leaders. Even the mayors that can discuss with the Jew and look into our problem, we are the very ones voting them.
You are saying that we sow our conscience to CPDM?
What I'm trying to say is that...
No, is that what you are saying?
Cameroonians sow their conscience because the government in power is not doing what they are supposed to do, but instead for them to use their vote, election, a vote cards rather, and prove the out of power, they are still there, romancing with them.
Thank you.
Because of the benefits that they are having.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will be coming back to you when we call Vitalis in, and so we'll take on this brief transition. When we come back, we will now move to the other panelists for reaction from what my panelist said there, Anu, about the issue of ID card. Let's take on this transition. Welcome back from that transition. And you wanted to react to what he said, Anu said.
Yeah, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis. You know, due to the general analysis concerning the ID card, as I told you, concerning the insecurity issue that knocks our country from the far north to the northwest and southwest area, if you just see, it comes from long times. The issue of producing ID cards to strangers create insecurity. Let me come back and just try to show you the different examples that can make you to understand the truth about it. You know, during the election time, they are not selecting. They don't know who is Cameroonian and who is a stranger. They just produce ID card for you to go and vote. After election, people will just be moving inside the country, going out. They are involved in their commercial activities. Since there is already a little problem that knocks the country, they can just throw down the identity that they have, and they do what they want to do because they are not one of us. I cannot accept, even with thousands of years, that a Cameroonian can take gun and fire his mother or his father. I cannot accept that. All of us are crying for this issue concerning the Anglophone crisis. We are crying of this issue.
Okay.
We want possible solution on that on the problem of the ID card.
Okay.
We want the government to create complaint centers, especially to solve the problem of the ID cards. It is not all the Cameroonians. 3 million Cameroonians are having the problem of double identity, and we want even how can I say the modify and the problem of modification in the ID card should take process as from today upward, so that Cameroon should easily move further.
Okay.
Because it's hindered development.
We're coming back to, I want us to quickly charge this ID card, move to the second topic, which is very important. Prince Epiere, you wanted to react?
No, I wanted for us to look at the way forward.
Yeah, way forward.
Yes, the way forward is very important because
briefly on this, so that we'll come
we
to
need to also propose solutions. Now, three things. Three things because one, the need to nationalize the production of ID cards is very important. Yeah. You cannot take Russia. France cannot take Russia to produce a Russian company to be producing national identity card in France. It's an error. You need to nationalize it. Identity card is intelligence. We cannot take our intelligence and give to another country. It's a big error. That's the first solution. The second thing is, if you look at the contract between the Cameroon government and Jamelto, you realize that Jamelto is to have 10 production centers in Cameroon. And no, let me learn. Those 10 production centers are to be located in all the 10 regions of the headquarters of the 10 regions of Cameroon. Yeah. But as of now, we have just one production center, which is in Yaoundé. So they should decentralize the production of ID cards. It will go a long way to solve the numerous problems that we have. That is the second thing. The third thing that we also need to look at is that the production of ID cards has become something where they have left it in the hands of some particular individuals. There should be a state control. There should be a state control for the production of ID cards. Like an audit for the production of ID cards. I want to make mention here that I'm not d'accord with my brother when he made mention that there is no money in ID cards. There is money. There is money. Cameroonians pay 2,800 francs for the production of an ID card. It's huge money, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis.
That is nationality.
Yeah, yes, that is the fee, exactly. Of which a document like the national identity card needed to be free of charge. In serious country, go like you make mention of a country like Nigeria. And maybe Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, to even add again is that as of now, I am d'accord with my brother who says that the production of that we don't need a SIM card in the production of ID card. But I'll look at it in another way. That as of now, I don't think even the computerization of the ID card is even needed in Cameroon. They should go back to the old system. They should go back to the cartoon. They should try back the cartoon even for 4 or 5 years. Why they build a system for the build that system of which it will be now a national system,
or so even make the laissez-passer doable.
That is what I'm saying. They should go back to the cartoon. Yes. When you go today, they give you the cartoon because Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, Cameroonians need their ID cards. Barangele is listening to us. We need our ID cards. Cameroonians need their ID cards. Development need to go on. The young people need to go to the banks to have money to do business, to put in their farms. Cameroonians must not work in the public service. The public service is already choked. The public service cannot employ 1 million Cameroonians. Okay. We are saying that Cameroon.
A guy has been caught in from about the 11th of this month, and he was angry and he scattered everything inside.
You are talking of a guy who we know the repercussion. That guy was really shot.
He's asking for his ID card, and they answer him wrongly, and he was angry. He scattered everything inside the police station, and they push him inside. They push him inside trouble.
So lastly,
he's complaining.
So lastly, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, you can realize that the passport is 48 hours for us to have a passport. 48 hours. Wonderful. What is happening with the national identity card? 48 hours. And no, Tah Mai Jarvis is because
that's why there's a crisis in the ID card.
Yes, the passport itself. And
briefly,
and with the ID card,
they cannot tell us that if a Cameroonian has double identity, there should be a solution for that double identity problem to be solved.
Okay.
Yes. And they should bring a disposition. They should bring a disposition of a law which a Cameroonian can sue the government in terms of not the government producing an ID card when the Cameroonian knows that he has no problem. Like you say, I have issues with my ID card. Then they give us a disposition where we can sue the government.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vitalis has just joined us. Mr. Vitalis, we'll talk briefly on this ID card issue. Then we'll move to the second topic. You have listened to a message from Donga Mountain Division, and someone talking about the fact that the people of Donga Mountain, some in the police station, are being poorly treated, and in terms of getting the ID card. There is a very active member of parliament in your area, Honorable Galajera, that has done so much in that area. We know he is listening, and something will be done about that. What's your take on this ID card issue?
Yeah, good afternoon to the televiewers. Good afternoon, fellow panelists. Yes, I want to say that in Cameroon, this moment, we have 3 major problems that is weighing the population down. The first problem is the Anglophone crisis. The second problem is the rise in the prices of the basic community. And the third crisis is the issue of ID card. Yes, the issue of ID card, because when you moved to the Northwest and the Southwest, like my brother has said, when you say people that took up arms are those who are foreigners, I'll get you wrong. Because when you bring that conception, you are putting the lives of my brothers and sisters who are in the Northwest and Southwest at risk. Because at any time, anybody is caught with an expired ID card, that person is considered sometimes as an marginal fighter, which is not. So the issue of saying that people are fighting in the Northwest and the Southwest, they are foreigners, I think because of ID cards, we should just scrape that one off. The ID card is a general issue. It's not an issue of you being an Brazilian fighter or not. Then secondly, let me go back to the issue of in Donga Mountain. Yes, most of the times people generalize a particular incident. This incident maybe is taking place in a particular village or a particular police post in Donga Mountain. The person will take it and generalize it. There is a way of addressing things. If you go to the if you go and have that type of a problem at the polling at the place where they're issuing ID card, it is your right to go to the right channel and complain. Because when we keep on saying the regime has done this, the regime has done that, I think we are getting it wrong. First, when concours are launched in this country, The concours, they don't say, okay, this concours has been launched like this. It's only for the children of the CBDM, people who are in the CBDM that will write. Everybody writes. Those who are causing havoc, like the police people who will stop you by the roadside and cause havoc, he might not be a member of the CBDM. He might be a member of maybe a son of an opposition leader. So we should not like saying that everything that is happening with heap on the regime. Because people have been given responsibility in this country and they have failed to
No, we are saying that it is a laxity of the regime. It's a laxity of the regime that makes those unscrupulous, I call them unscrupulous police officers to behave in that manner.
You don't expect Margangele to be in Matazan, to be in the Southwest, to be in Limbe at the same time checking them.
And that's what we do. We are talking of unscrupulous.
What we are saying is that
we are talking of unscrupulous.
When you are given a post of responsibility, do it with love. Do it knowing that you are doing to your fellow brothers and sisters. What is lacking in this country that
you are very correct. The police corps itself is a noble profession.
Very good.
That is what we are using the word. That's why we are using the word unscrupulous police officers.
Very good.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It is your right. It is
some bargain. That's why we say that we need a state.
It is
control.
It is your right as a citizen
on the issue of ID cards.
It is your right. It is your right as a citizen of this country to stand on your right. I travel to Northwest every day. The one time I was held at Matazam by a policeman. I showed him my ID card, passed the control, then our vehicle was behind. I came back to check what is happening with the vehicle. He said I should show him my ID card. I said, no, sir, I've already shown him your ID card. He said, okay, you want to teach me how to do my work? He took me to the big man. And you know the crime he leveled on me? Incitation and insurrection. That's a very big crime. But I stood my grounds. I told him there and then, what has me saying that you have already seen my ID card, what has that got to do with incitation and insurrection? So there are times that we as Cameroonian citizens, we should stand on our right. We should not like just giving up.
But now, this issue of standing on our right, you have raised a very important issue. But how honest are some of these persons in the Northwest and Southwest who are bosses, police bosses, or commander or field commanders? How honest are they if a case is brought to them? Because we have had incident where someone wants to claim he knows his right, is locked up, held incommunicado. Now, don't we? Is it not just logical to just show the ID card and stop arguing with them and just move?
The thing has always been that, as I said here, people, Cameroonians don't show love to each other. Because what makes many Cameroonians fear is that once you are arrested for a different case, when you reach the police stations, the case that they will bring in front is not what you have committed. That's what, yes. But I want to tell you that there is no police commissioner who will say, okay, go and behave like this on the road. When people go to the road, they take their personal initiative to weaken. That is why the other day, as I said here, General Buba left Yaoundé and was going to Bamenda. While on my fight, he met people moving on in the rain to go and show the ID card to the police officer. He was very angry. He told them that, no, this is not what people have been sent here to come and do. They have been sent here to come and secure these people, not punishing them. So most of the times, when people are given posts of representation in the country, they don't do it. And I blame the youth, like my brother said. If I ask all of you sitting here now, how many of you have your voter's card? None of you.
I do. Everybody here do. Sadly, everybody here do.
Very good. Let me mention very important.
Yes. If you on the 8th of this, on the 8th of this,
I want to say that
on the 8th of this month,
the first time I represent the political party on this platform. So what they say is a big slap on my face. The first time I voted was in 2004. I just wanted to
on the 8th.
So I've been keeping the voter card now 18 good
I listened to you. I listened to you when you said the regime in place is delaying the issuance of ID cards, which is very, very wrong. On the 8th of this month, the chairman of the election Cameroon, Eno Abraham Egbe, he met with the general, with Bargangele to discuss on ways that this ID card can be issued fast so that Cameroonians can register on the electoral list.
It is Bargangele who decides on elections in this country.
No, he met with him to.
I'm asking you
on
that
the issuance of ID card.
It is Abrams. The Abrams. Is he the one who decides on elections in this country?
Not that. So that people should have access.
We are educating Cameroonians. We should not come on a serious platform like this and then we try to make Cameroonians to call names and then to make them to feel. They are those met
with Mr. Ngele.
They are not those that decide on elections.
So that people can hear.
They are appointed officials.
He met with Mbargangele so that people can have easy access to the ID cards and vote. When you say that
they are appointed officials,
you are wrong.
They are appointed officials.
It's okay, we'll take on this break. It's okay, we'll take on this break. We'll come back. It's okay, we'll take on this break. It's okay. It's okay. No. It's okay. It's okay. You people, let him line. You people have made your point. Let him make his point, and he has a right to make his point. Then you have a right to a rebuttal. I'm sure he has a right to his point, and you to have a right to your opinion, and that's why we are in the House of Commons. He speaks, then you have the time to do a rebuttal. If you disagree with him, fine.
He met with Mbargangele to tell him that no, so many Cameroonians are complaining of not being able to register on the electoral list because they don't have the original identity.
And that was what you said. You said that many Cameroonians have problems registering the electoral list.
Very good.
Because they don't have the ID card.
Very good. So that's why Abraham Egbe met with the Delegate General in charge National Security to see how they can facilitate so that this ID card can be produced very fast for Cameroonians to have it.
But, okay, thank you.
So when you say that the regime is holding
it
is funny. One person sent a message here that during elections there was mass production of ID cards. Mass production of ID cards. We have been hearing it during election. We always have it. If the regime is holding the production of ID card, they will not even.
Thank you. Because of time, I'm sure we have to move to the second topic. We will have this ID card issue again next week because of time. I want us to move to the second topic because it's very important. From next week, the second topic may die down. And you talked about the meeting. We just hope that the decision will not be like the second coming of Christ. Because I have been with my ID card, my first ID card I made 10 years got expired. The second one, I went since February 2021. We are counting now. I went to the police station. They said I should come in 2024. Yes, so for my original ID. So you see all this.
I'm saying that the policemen on the road,
so
are the one carrying.
We'll take it on the second topic. Yes. The second topic is the Naira 10, Nnamdi Kanu case, Seseko Ayoktabe, and the Naira 10. What lesson for Cameroon's judicial system? Nnamdi Kanu was illegally arrested according to the Court of Appeal in Nigeria, and the Court of Appeal dismissed the case brought forth by the Prosecution Council, that is the Nigerian government, that Nnamdi Kanu was being charged of terrorism, secession, incitement, and also treason, if found guilty, is capital punishment. And so far, the case went on for close to a year. Nnamdi Kanu was acquitted on Friday, and all the charges dropped, and he is now a free man. The court holds that, one, the prosecuting counsel failed to give proof that Nnamdi Kanu committed the incident in Nigeria. Two, the prosecuting counsel also failed to release to mention where Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, that they cannot judge someone without knowing where he was arrested. And three, the prosecuting counsel also violated Nnamdi Kanu's right by kidnapping him, according to the judgment, that he was kidnapped and brought to the country. They also that the prosecuting counsel did not respect the extradition treaty of OAU, and so the Abuja High Court lacks the jurisprudence to judge Nnamdi Kanu, and that they don't have also the jurisdiction to judge Nnamdi Kanu. To that effect, he was granted, he was acquitted, and also now sent home to live freely with his family. And the case also, the judges did not dismiss the fact that those are not serious allegations, but that they lack the substance to judge him. The crime he may have committed, but they lack the substance to judge him because of the fact that the area of arrest was not proven. And this is similar to that of the Naira 10, if we had to look at the verdict. So, Prince Epiere, I'll begin with you on this. We have close to 25 minutes to talk on this because we are almost out of time. 25 minutes talk about this issue. I'll beg that. I know there will be different opinions here. Please, let's argue so that people have the time to talk. You have your time undisputed. Please, nobody should intervene when anybody is talking because it's very sensitive. What lessons can we learn from Cameroon judicial system? Looking at what happened in Nigeria, and the Abuja High Court had ruled in favor of Seseko and Co.
The Cameroon judicial system still has about 100 years to meet the Nigerian judicial system. Let me explain why. The judicial system in Cameroon takes orders from the executive. Takes orders from the executive. When it is the executive that appoints the Minister of Justice, appoints magistrates. It poses a problem in terms of the fairness and the rule of law. I want to say that in Cameroon, it is no news for people to know that there is no separation of power in Cameroon. The theory or the thesis of separation of power in Cameroon is still a nightmare. You can imagine that in Cameroon, even the legislative takes orders from the executive. So it needs to, we Cameroonians need to make sure that there is separation of power before we can start thinking of comparing the Cameroonian judicial system with a country like Nigeria, which we know very well that the Nigerian judicial system is independent of the executive. That brings us to seeing the fair judgment that was being given, looking at the case, that is the sensitivity, the charge before the court of law. The charge before the court of law was the illegal arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. That was the charge before the court, and the court ruled that he was illegally arrested. That is what we call the rule of law. Now, when you want to compare it with the case of Sisiko Tabe and co, you realize that at the time when they were being arrested, we had no extradition treaty, for the best of my knowledge, with Nigeria. We had no extradition treaty. And extradition treaty is made known to the public. It's not a hidden thing.
But even if there's
let
me do it and quick you speak. But even if there's an extradition treaty, were the Naira not supposed to be presented in court in Nigeria? Then now the court ruled and extradite them officially, as we see the extradition treaty with that of Julio Assange, where it's presented to court. Then the court grant that, okay, this is the judgment, this is sent.
That is why I said de facto, they were to be discharged and sent back to Nigeria immediately. But these are people who were being judged at the military tribunal. So if you want to bring a comparison between the Nnamdi Kanu case and the Naira 10, you realize that they are two different. They seem alike, but they followed two different court jurisprudence or court procedures. Ayuk Tabe and Co were being judged in the military court and were charged guilty of the charges that were being levied against them. But the case of Nnamdi Kanu, we saw the rule of the common law, and that is the common law. That is the common law. That is what we have been. That is what we have been saying. So, in a nutshell, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, we are saying that for Cameroon to forge ahead, we need our judicial system to be independent. We have always been giving proposals.
But we have an independent judicial system now. We have people who have been in charge of corruption, government ministers, former ministers have been in charge of corruption in Kundengi. We have people who have been sentenced to prison by virtue of the fact that evidence were presented and that they're guilty. So we used to ask in judicial system.
What
do you mean?
Most of those people you are saying today, they have an international recognition as political prisoners. Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, we are in the country that you know very well. The dynamics of that country. When the executive, when the Popular Action Party comes to power tomorrow, will be that political party where we shall decentralize the system. We shall decentralize the system. When the executive, I'm talking of the executive, President Jean Denis will not interfere into the judicial in the judicial system. He will not. The judicial system should be independent. The judges who take the higher ranks should follow an election. It should be by career orientation. Look at the way people like Justice Ayapola Bine were being treated like dogs. I want to make mention here that when Justice Ayapola Bine was in the 2011 presidential polls, he challenged Cameroonians that if there is any Cameroonian whom he thinks he gave a judgment which was not fair, should raise up his hand, or that he took one dime. But nobody, no Cameroonian. But look at the man who was treated like a dog in his own country. This is a Supreme. Wait. No, let me land, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis. Yes, it's very important. Briefly.
A Supreme Court. You have been talking for 9 minutes. A Supreme Court judge of his rank, who was arrested on a Saturday in his residence. Do we arrest people on a Saturday? What was the flagrante delito in the arrest of Justice Ayapola Bine? And he has always cried foul that he was illegally arrested. Okay. We know how many months he spent in prison, and today he's crying his eyes. Now, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that the Cameroon system need to have separation of power. We need to go to the thoughts of the people like Montesquieu. What was the ideology on the separation of power? We need to think about people like Voltaire. What was the ideology in the concept of the state? We need to think of people like Jean-Jacques Rousseau. What they were, I'm calling French names. Those were thinkers who brought this, and countries that understood. Okay. This separation of power. You see how these countries are emerging today. Now, because we are. Please. Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, you will not refuse me this just 10 seconds to conclude. If a country which wants to emerge, for that country to emerge, there must be that separation of power. Investors need to see that judicial system where there is fair in the trial. Okay. Mr. Vitalis, I'm sure you got the news that Nnamdi Kanu has been released and all charges dropped. He is a separatist leader in Nigeria who has been advocating for the indigenous people of Biafra total separation. And a similar way in which he was brought into the country, the same way the Naira 10 were brought into the country. Nigeria just got to know that he has been brought into the country. The same way Cameroon. You follow he has been acquitted. Yes. What lessons can we learn?
Yes, I followed it, and I want to say that we should not be blinded by the fact that Nnamdi Kanu has been released from prison. There is a whole game that is going underground. I've been following the political atmosphere in Nigeria, and if you follow it, you will discover that Peter Obi is at this particular moment, and he comes from the eastern part of Nigeria. And Nnamdi Kanu also comes from the eastern part of Nigeria, and the people of the eastern part of Nigeria, who call themselves the ambassador of Biafra, they are also fighting for a separate state, like what the people in the British Southern Cameroon are doing. The release of Nnamdi Kanu is a trick that many of us might not understand. You know that there is what we call the Monday ghost towns in Nigeria and the lockdowns in Nigeria. And Nnamdi Kanu is somebody that, as he has been released, he will still stand firm that he is a Biafra and not a Nigerian. So, opinion polls, critics are saying that the release of Nnamdi Kanu is a game, because from all indications, during the presidential election in Nigeria, which will be held next year, there is all indication that the Biafran people, the Nnamdi Kanu is going to call for a lockdown. And once the lockdown is called, or that they will call that Biafrans should not go to vote. But once the Biafran don't vote, Peter Obi will not have a chance to win the elections in Nigeria. So that is the sense behind the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So we should not like saying that he has been just jubilating. Politics is a game. And if you just follow politics on the surface, you will not understand the deeper meaning in events as far as politics is concerned. So what you are saying is that it's not the judicial system that should be accredited for this release, but that it should be it's a political motive. So therefore, you are saying that there's no lesson to learn from Nigeria judicial system that is the same like Cameroon, which must go by political gains. No, there is.
No, it is his opinion. No, it's his opinion. It is his option. Let him land.
Politics.
No. You see it politics. I see his opinion.
When Ayuk Tabe and the rest were arrested, this very court in Nigeria was there, and they could not hold them back so that they could join Nigeria. So, if you look at the situation in Cameroon and the situation in Nigeria, it's quite a different thing. You know, the arrest of Ayuk Tabe and the rest has set the Ambazonian separatists into confusion. And that is a tactic that the government has used, and it seems to be succeeding. Because we discovered that since Ayuk Tabe went to prison, Ambazonian separatists have had a lot of factions. And that faction is playing to the interests of the government.
Even before you go to prison, there were many factions.
The government. No.
Exactly. I thought we had a gentleman agreement that people will speak.
Yes. and so the arrest of Ayuk Tabe and keeping him in Kondenge has created a lot of confusion among the Ambazonian fighters, so much such that it is not easy for the government to release him.
Okay. You raised an issue that Ayuk Tabe and co were arrested in Nigeria, and this court could not stop them from being ferried to Cameroon. But are you aware that the Abuja court ruled that the arrest of Ayuk Tabe was illegal, was bad, yes, and that they should be sent back to Nigeria immediately? And are you also aware that there is a case that the Nigerian government court, Abuja court, puts it that they were kidnapped? If you are asked now, under what circumstances?
Cameroon is a sovereign state, yes, and I don't think that Nigeria will dictate to us what we
do. Good. I was coming to the next question. If you are asked now that under what circumstances did Ayuk Tabe find his case is present in Cameroon, will you say he was arrested?
No, he was arrested because Cameroon has a military accord with Nigeria.
No, will you say he was arrested?
He was arrested.
Cameroon has a military accord with Nigeria.
Yes.
Which military accord does he have with Nigeria? All of us are Cameroonians now, my brother. Which military accord does Cameroon? We are talking about the rule of law. We are talking about the rule of law.
That's why they has international status.
Mr. Vitalis, we are talking about the rule of law. You can be a victim.
So let him now. We had the gentleman agreement. You are taking his time.
It's not a matter of being a victim. These people were causing havoc to the Cameroon government.
Okay.
And Nigeria helped brought them to Cameroon.
So you are saying that, in the essence, you are saying that Cameroon has a better judicial system to Nigeria, because you are saying that Nsungkikang was released because of political reasons, and that Cameroon has a right to keep the Naira 10 based on the jurisprudence you are trying to align here.
We are not saying that Cameroon has a better judicial system than Nigeria. We are saying that because of the havoc these 10 we are causing to the state of Cameroon, the Cameroon government deemed it necessary to keep them.
Okay.
By abrogating the rule of law. That is what you want to make the televiewers to understand. By not following the rule of law.
Okay. Now,
no, Mr. Vitalis.
Yes, because what you are saying is that the rule of law.
We are talking of the rule of law.
We are looking at the element of the.
If you look
of the church.
If you look at
and the error where it was committed.
If you look at the way the Cameroonian government always term the Naira 10, they term them as terrorists. Although no international organization have
but Nsungkikang also is being termed as a terrorist.
Yes. So Cameroon consider that they have arrested a terrorist and is being kept.
Okay. So we have not much time. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, you know, Mr. Ayuk Tabe is not classified inside the agenda of non-governmental organization as a terrorist.
Yes.
And the second point concerning the Ayuk Tabe issue, when they caught him in Nigeria, up to this level, the Nigerian government did not recognize that it's due to their collaboration that he has been caught and jailed in Cameroon. And up to this level, we thought that after the national dialogue resolution supposed to be come on to release him, and the president supposed to present his apologies to the Northwest and Southwest people, in which they can easily appease down the issue that is affecting them. But there's no possible solution on it, and he stated in his own point that they are terrorists. He don't want to dialogue with them, and even the national dialogue is supposed to concern these two regions, Northwest and Southwest. I'm not seeing the use of the other regions at the national dialogue. They're supposed to convoke these two regions in which they can easily solve the problem that they're facing. Because if you just see the issue of Boko Haram, it concerns only those guys from the far north. The guys that are coming inside Marwa, Kulufata, Amshide to create disorder and go back. He's supposed to convoke the chiefs, the rulers, and the heads, political parties of Northwest and Southwest to solve the problem of the crisis, Anglophone crisis.
Okay.
But up to this level, nothing, and they are still accusing Ayuk Tabe and co as terrorists. And if something happened to him, where he is now, it will be more devastating.
Okay. So what lessons do we learn from this?
Comparing the Cameroon judicial system and Nigeria, they are two different systems. Cameroon will practice majority the civil law system, even though we are supposed to have a bi-jural system in Cameroon. We also have a common law and the civil law, but we see the civil law system dominated. Ayuk Tabe, we cannot say he was arrested. He was maybe kidnapped from Nigeria to Cameroon. His judgment, he was judged by the military tribunal and sentenced. And we would analyze, we follow the Anglophone crisis every day and know what is happening on ground. We don't see that as a joker. Even if Ayuk Tabe is released today, it will not be a joker to solve the Anglophone crisis. Anybody who has been following issues on ground will know that. Ayuk Tabe was arrested at the time when there were no arms even, when there were no armed groups on ground. Armed groups started pouring up when he was arrested. And even releasing him today will not, if the government want to try, let them just try and release him and see whether it will change anything on ground. The dynamics of the crisis keeps changing every day. We don't see his release as being a solution to the problem. The government know where the solution is and they don't want to do it. Maybe, and we don't even see this regime solving that problem. Maybe the next regime coming, a change of people may bring in a change of ideology and a change of mindset that may want to now enter and solve this problem. If you look at the dynamics, the point of the view of the government and the separatists, there are two extreme points. And we don't see them changing their positions anytime, any soon. You see the crisis keep deteriorating on a daily basis. And nobody is... No, the next regime may change, yes. Yeah, if you look at Colombia, the FARC rebels fought for 50 years and it was a different regime that came and solved that problem. And we are trying to see that kind of thing in our own scenario here. And we pray that that doesn't happen to us, so that maybe this issue can end in the shortest possible time. And the release of Nnamdi Kanu, we cannot underride the fairness of the Nigerian judicial system. It is a purely common law system that is practiced. There's not like Cameroon where Buhari can dictate that no, don't do this. Because he was actually kidnapped, he was not arrested. Remember, he was taken from Kenya, another common law state, which due procedures were supposed to be followed for him to be extradited to Nigeria. And that was not done. He was kidnapped, smuggled, he was smuggled into Nigeria, and then the trial has been going on for almost a year. And I don't even see it having any correlation with Peter Obi and the obedient movement and the elections coming up in Nigeria next year. Nnamdi Kanu will not change his stance, and the issue of secession is enshrined in the Nigerian constitution. It's not like in Cameroon. The issue of the Nigerian constitution gives provision for a referendum to be carried out if a particular region deems it necessary that they don't want to belong. It is well enshrined in your constitution. So the Nigerian government know this very well. but the issue of constitution is supposed to be invoked maybe by the Supreme Court, or maybe and maybe this can be channeled by the executive for that to happen. But they play all of these cards and so on, and they are actually seeing that they are actually making a kind of mechanism in which maybe they want to appease the Igbos, maybe to kill this the secession tendency.
Yeah, indirectly come back to what he's saying.
No, he was not saying the very thing I'm saying. No, I'm saying
but at least there's an element that correlates to what he said.
Yes.
No, but that does not correlate with the release of Nnamdi Kanu. They may want to kill the secessionist tendency of the Igbos, so that by bringing a leader from their region, so that they feel more belong, because they have been deprived politically since 1967. Okay. They have been deprived politically. And no president has ever come from that region. Okay. So it is a great lesson to learn from Cameroon that the rule of law can always prevail. Not like in Cameroon where there's the judiciary and the executive and the legislative, they are just like a pot of soup where you cannot separate oil from water and fish. And so
no, that's your opinion. Yeah. We have had issues where the legislative and executive are too different.
No, they are not different. If they are different, they can be different where the executive say, no, allow this one. Let it be a semblance that, let there be a semblance that there's a rule of law in Cameroon.
Good afternoon to you people in the studio. The police station is not the police is not really serious. My child made his ID card since my child made his ID card 3 years ago. Today he has not gotten what what has he done. In fact, we do not have leaders, as one panelist said. Nobody cares. What about the issue of family allowances? Family allowances increment decreed by the president in 2019, who has to implement it. So it shows that everybody is a big man where he or she is coming from Ba in Yaoundé. But by you are from Yaoundé now, just go to the presidency. Good day, sir. I am called Kude Eugene Ongum from Bamenda. I have this ID card problem. My ID card was issued to me without a single document. I'm suffering because of age difference. Thank you. Good day to you panelists in the studio. ID card is a business in Moya. If you need an original ID card, you have to bribe the police. If not, you are not allowed to enter the ID card office. Bisong Wilfred in Moya. This one reads, it says, good afternoon to you in the studio. The government has a responsibility over the production of ID card, but they tend to make it a business. They tend to make it a business because when the photocopy has expired, you can't renew without paying at least 2,000 francs, especially with us in that is not true. I have been renewing my own without paying a dime until there's no longer a space there for renewal. They had to attach another paper to keep renewing. So I have not been paying. The only thing I've been paying is my driving there and coming back. That's the fuel, and so I've not been paying. It's not true. Maybe what you are saying is true. I don't disagree. What you are saying in some areas it could be, but you have to move to the local administrative authority and complain that, and that issue will be addressed.
No, what he's saying might be true because the way some police officers behave in rural areas is not the same way they behave in town.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, that he should move to his local area and complain. I am Keka Jude Gakunwi. Good morning to you. Sorry if I pronounced her name wrongly. Good morning to you in the studio. I really love the program about ID card. One day when I was traveling with my wife, that time she still had, but the school, she said the school ID, the policeman never even wanted to see it until we even slept at the control post. He said we should pay him 12,000 francs for not having an ID card. If the only way is that the ID card, the only way this is ID card issue can be resolved is to decentralize the production. This is coming from Joel in Kumba. This one says, I am not bad from Kumba, sir. I paid 4,800 francs to make an ID card. This other one says, kidnapping means arresting somebody without a due process before extradition. This is coming from Chuma in Loom, and this other one replies to Mr. Vitalis. Says, I am talking about Nkambe Central Police, the Inspector of Police Grade 2, let investigation be done. Let the mayor, the parliamentarian, the SDO, and elite of the division should note this issue of the policeman. He's talking about Nkambe Central Police Station. So he has raised it, and so I'm sure you are.
But it is your right to write a complaint, maybe to the state council, and state your problem there. Because when I remember one time I was in Kambe, then we were in the court. Then there was this issue of saying bail fee, that they say people should pay bail.
If you want to take person for bail,
you pay a certain amount of money. Whereas in Cameroon it is free.
It's illegal.
Yes, there was one small guy there who went out and he called directly Konak. And Konak had to call back to Nkambe. And all of a sudden, the president of court came out and said that if anybody is collecting money from you because of bail, that person is doing it at his or her own risk. But there are times that we need to at least exercise our right. If you go there and he collects money from you as a police officer, try to report him to his hierarchy, because he is not the law.
No, they do it in complicity with the immediate hierarchy.
There are times that they do when the hierarchy.
The issue you evoke on the state council is a good one.
Yes.
The guy, since he's insisting on Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, it's good that what Mr. Vitalis was saying is very important. The guy should go to the state council of Nkambe. The state council will handle the matter.
Okay, so now you are confirming that there is separation of power. There is the judicial system of Cameroon.
No, it's not a matter of
if the state council handles it means that there is a separation of power.
The state council is the head of investigation.
Okay, but you said okay.
Let
me go by that. Let me go by that. You are right. Let me go by that.
Yes.
Now you also said Justice Ayak during 2011 said those anybody who he has ever rendered bad judgment,
judgment by taking money,
bribe should come. Nobody came. Nobody came, which
yes.
means that the state did not interfere in his judgment. That's
listen. Those are the issues that you see. That they did everything to. Listen. In the rank of Justice Ayapola Abine,
okay,
was in the rank of Justice Ayapola. No, we are out of time. But in the rank of Justice Ayapola Abine, he needed to be more than where he ended.
Thank you for coming. Yes. Thank you
very much, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis. It's always a pleasure to be on the House of Commons.
Thank you for coming, Mr.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here again.
And of course, we want to thank you, Nick, for coming.
Thank you. The camera is not
yes, just thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis, and I extend my greetings to my brothers and sisters from Northwest and Southwest. I want to tell them that they are crying today, crying tomorrow, and they will not cry forever.
Thank you very much, Innocent Barazil, for coming. We didn't have enough space, so we just have to make known. Thank you all those of you who took our time to follow us. If you want to be a member of our debate, you want to take part in this debate, contact me on the number on your screen, 676-431-384. I will include you into our WhatsApp group, where when the topic is being published there, you can indicate if you want to participate. Some of you are there criticizing the panelists that this one is not speaking like this one should say this. Please, you have the right to come and speak what you want to the public to know, as long as you take responsibility for that statement. We will not want you to say this person did not, this person did not. They are saying their own views, and we should respect their opinion. It may be contrary to your views, and I respect your opinion. My number is there. You can come to us. You be a member of a panel. You share your own opinion, and so that Cameroonians can be educated. It's difficult to get panelists, and sometimes some of you say you're there. Please contact us and be a member of a panel. This program comes to you every Sunday at 12 to 1:30, and follow us on our YouTube channel is BT Media Group, our YouTube channel, our Facebook page My Media Prime, our Twitter handle My Media Prime. I leave you with this: no matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter for you is that you should stay out of trouble. My name is Tah Mai Jarvis. Bye bye.
You like the best music industry in Central Africa.